now rocking with the best. Debates get hot, boy, I am so many fresh. I talk cash money like I'm Birdman. Tackle topic straight on, no swerving. All facts is what I'm serving. No one's better or more deserving than me. I bring that heat like Miami on a whole nother level like Gumbo Tiny. I prove points by helping you visualize, using data that's analyzed by eagle eyes. Get your mind right and act like you know. You are now tuned into the Real Untouchable podcast.
Hey, what it do, sports world, and welcome to the Real Untouchable podcast, man, with me, Ray Diggs. I got a great segment for you all. I want to talk about I want to give you all my top 25 predictions for this week in college football. Okay, it's going to be a hell of a week, y'all. It's going to be another great week of college football, and guess what? I'm here for it. I'm going to give you all the Real Untouchable podcast pick 'em. These are the pick 'em games, okay? All right, so man, before I get started, man, make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button. And make sure y'all give me your feedback. And, just let me know what y'all think about this segment. But we're going to go ahead and jump on into it. All right. So starting this thing off, man, we're going to start off with number 23, Clemson at Virginia. All right. Clemson coming off a huge loss, man. That right there is a big setback. And I'm going to be honest, that might have knocked them out of the college. That might have knocked them out of the college football playoff. And I know that Dabo Swinney is mad about that. So I expect them to come out here, and I expect for them to play a big game. I'm going with Clemson versus Virginia. All right. We got Purdue at number 2, Ohio State. Another, easy game for Ohio State. Everybody talking about that last week matchup when they played against Penn State. Overrated. That's exactly what I think about Penn State. They have been overrated all season. But let's talk about Ohio State, Purdue. I think Purdue is just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Hey, it's just like you at the wrong place at the wrong time during the game. Just like, you know what I'm saying, when the games and all the other stuff. At the wrong place, wrong time. I think Purdue gets beat down at Ohio State. And Ohio State got their eyes on the prize, and that's the Big Ten championship game. I think they win big this week. I got number 4, Miami at Georgia Tech. I'm going with Miami. All right. Miami, they've been playing some horrible defense lately, but they've still been winning. I expect for them to pick their defense up a little bit this week against Georgia Tech. I expect for Miami to win this game, and I expect for Cam Ward to keep capitalizing on that Heisman Trophy that he got his arm wrapped around tight right now. Let me tell y'all something. This kid, Cam Ward, right now, has got the Heisman Trophy wrapped up. The only thing he needs to do is continue. I don't think Cam Ward needs to have a Heisman moment. Even though I think it'll be good if he had a Heisman moment in probably the ACC championship game. But I don't think he needs to have a Heisman moment right now. Right now, Cam Ward have 29. Well, he got 3,000 yards passing, 3,100 yards passing. All right. And he has 29 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Okay. All right. He also have another 187 yards rushing. Okay. So I think as all this kid needs to do is just don't lose the Heisman. That's all he needs to do. Just don't lose it. Because I think the Heisman is his to lose. Him and Gentry, I think the Heisman Trophy is theirs to lose. And I think they'll X each other out. Yes, can Travis Hunter catch up? Possibly, he can. But I don't think he will. Because I think these two dudes got too big of a gap between him and them. Okay? So that's why. But I'm not going to get on the Heisman right now. But I think Miami wins this game against Georgia Tech. Okay, we got Texas at number 5, Florida. I'm going with Texas. Even though DJ Lagway is supposed to play, I think that'd be good for them if he did play. But I'm going to go with Texas. I think Texas makes it uncomfortable for him in that offense. And I expect for them to win this game in Austin big. Okay, we got Michigan at number 8, Indiana. I think Michigan defense makes it very hard on Indiana. But I think Indiana will, in the third quarter, I think they'll get a 3 touchdown lead, 4 touchdown lead. And I think they'll just, slide on the win, slide on the victory. But they got a big game coming up. And I think it's next week when they travel to Ohio State to play the Buckeyes. Now, that's going to be the game where pretty much can decide who goes to the Big Ten championship with Oregon. If Ohio State wins that game, I think they gets in. I think they gets in the Big Ten championship game. But if Indiana wins, I think Indiana will get into that college, will get into that Big Ten championship. If Indiana can win this week against Michigan, I think they pretty much clinches a college football playoff berth. Because I think that the Big Ten are getting at least two, maybe three, four teams in, possibly four, because I think the SEC is going to get about four teams in. Okay, so that's eight, and then you got four at-large teams. So I think that the Big Ten and SEC will get at least four teams in. So Indiana needs to take care of business this week because, and I'm sure their coach is already telling them, if they take care of business this week, I think they get into the college football playoff, and I think they will. I'm going Indiana over Michigan. Okay, we got number 17, Iowa State at Kansas. Kansas was one of those teams that I expect for them to be big. I expect them to be good with Daniels coming back, with the kid with the wide receiver, the really, really good wide receiver, the Kobe Bryant, that cornerback, one of the best cornerbacks in all of college football. It just hadn't panned out. Well, for whatever reason, it hadn't panned out. Iowa State needs this win. After losing last week, a sloppy game against Texas Tech, they need to win this game this week because they got to stay afloat that Big 12 because the Big 12 is only going to get one school in. We know that. I think that if they can win this week, they still got a chance to get to that Big 12 championship game. But if they lose this week, which Iowa State still got another tough game coming up, but they need to win at Kansas this week. I think they will win this week. I'm going to go with Iowa State to beat Kansas. But Iowa State's schedule is looking like this. They still got to play against Cincinnati. I think they beat Cincinnati. They play at Utah. Utah hadn't panned out for whatever reason, but Utah still can be a very dangerous team. Okay, they can be very, very dangerous, especially in Utah. And then they finish off the season at home against Kansas State. I think that right there going to decide who goes to the Big 12 championship game. Because when you look at the Big 12 right now, you got BYU undefeated, Iowa State, they one loss, Colorado one loss, and then you got Kansas State with two losses. So depending on what happened this week with Texas Tech only got two losses as well. Now I'm gonna tell you what's gonna become very tricky. If Texas Tech can win this week and give Colorado their second loss, that's gonna boost Kansas State up. If Iowa State loses. Now, and then Texas Tech could possibly creep into the back door. Y'all know how it be, when your husband go to work and y'all creep somebody in the back door. Yes, that's how Texas Tech can creep back door into the Big 12 championship game, just like that. All right. So when I look at this conference, I think they're gonna only get maybe one school in. That's probably about all the Big 12 is gonna get because of them, how weak their conference is. But I expect for Iowa State to beat Kansas this week. And like I said, Kansas, man, it just hadn't panned out for whatever reason. I'm going with Iowa State. We got number 25, Army. Let's go, Army. Yes, the Golden Knights, y'all. We got them against North Texas this week. Army undefeated, 8-0. I ain't looked at it. I don't know if the quarterback coming back this week, but I still expect Army to get this win. And y'all, let me ask y'all this question. Army. That's Army is doing something really, really good down there, man. Down there at West Point. That's good. I'm proud of them. They putting a 12-game winning streak on the road, on the line this week against a very tough, must I say, North Texas team. When I look at Army, right, I'm gonna look at the rest of their schedule. Now they still got to play Notre Dame next week, so I think that's gonna be a L. But Army, man, this is a good story, y'all. If they can win this week, this way will be the first time they've been 9-0. If they can go into Notre Dame, which I don't think they will, but just say they do, and they can beat Notre Dame. Then they play Texas San Antonio, and then it's their game against Navy. Let's say that Army finished the season undefeated. Do you all feel that an AAC team can get into the college football playoffs? Y'all answer that question for me. Because I think if they can win all those games and they can beat a top 10 school, which with Notre Dame will be, there's no way you can keep them out. I'm going with Army to win this week. All right, we got number 20 Colorado at Texas Tech. 6-2 Colorado at 6-3 Texas Tech. I'm going with Texas Tech. Upset. Upset. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. Not because I hate Deion Sanders, because I don't. I think he's arrogant. I think he makes a lot of excuses. He made a statement this week, y'all. Basically talking about Dylan Edwards. Y'all remember Dylan Edwards, right? The running back from Kansas State that transferred from Colorado to Kansas State. He made a statement about this kid. He knowing that we knew who he was talking about. Basically saying that his son, Shedeur Sanders, bought him furniture and he did not say anything to him as he was getting ready to hit the transfer portal. Like he's supposed to kiss his ass or something. And that's the problem that I got against Deion Sanders, y'all. I just wanted to get that out there. Why do you feel the need at this moment to throw this man out here again? If I'm his parents, I'm getting on the phone. I'm calling Deion. Like, listen, man. At the end of the day, I respect you. I love you. I respect what you did for my son. But hey, I'm getting tired of you throwing shots at my son every chance you get on every time you get a mic in the front of you, every time you get one of these in front of you, you throwing my son out there like that. Like, if I'm a parent, that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm not threatening them, but I'm just telling them, like, listen, it's okay, man. You winning. You don't have to throw my son out there. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just continue to improve your team. That's it. That's the problem that I got against him. But that ain't the reason why I'm taking him this week. This is the reason why I'm taking him this week, because it can get real scary down there. It can get real scary down there in Texas Tech, especially on a rainy Saturday. Not saying it's going to be rainy, but on a Saturday, they lucky it wasn't that night, because that crowd can get real crazy down there in Texas Tech on a Saturday night. Guns up. I ain't saying no violence. I'm not saying no violence. But y'all know what guns up mean. If you like Texas Tech, you know what guns up mean. And I think it's gonna be gun blazing this weekend as they and I think they want Colorado coming in there, riding a hot streak, coming off a winning streak. They want them. That's right there why I'm going with Texas Tech. That's my first upset of the week. All right. We got Maryland at Oregon, number 1 team in the nation. I think Oregon dominates Maryland. I think they're going to pretty much solidify themselves as the number 1 team in all of college football, the best team in college football. They'll continue to make that stance this week. I'm going with Oregon to win that game. We got Mississippi State at number 7, Tennessee. I think Mississippi State can scare Tennessee a little bit in the first half, but then I think Nico and that defensive line, I think they'll pretty much shut them out in the second half. And I expect for them to win an easy one at Neyland Stadium as they get ready for next weekend, as they get ready to travel down there to Georgia. That's going to be a game. We got Florida State at number 10, Notre Dame. I'm going with Notre Dame to win this game. Florida State is a mess, 1-8. I did not expect this. I don't think nobody saw this coming. This team right here can possibly go 1-11 this year. That's going to be crazy for a team that went undefeated last year. That's crazy. I don't care how many players you lose. I've never seen a school a year after going undefeated, you lose all of your games except one. Nobody's seen this coming. I'm going Notre Dame. We got Oklahoma at number 24, Missouri. Now that's right here. This is a chance for Missouri to get back on track. I think it's the perfect team for them to get back on track. Jackson Arnold at quarterback for Oklahoma. I'm going with Oklahoma. Yep. I'm going with Oklahoma to win this game. I think that Missouri is a good team, but I just don't know. I just don't know how Brady, how healthy is he? Is the offense going to be a little bit better? These are questions I just don't know. So that's why I'm going with Oklahoma for the upset. I'm going with Oklahoma. We got Washington at Penn State. Penn State continues to play nobody. Washington is rebuilding this year. They lost their coach. They lost a lot of players. I expect for Penn State to win this game. All right, we got Nevada at number 12, Boise State. I'm going with Boise State. And like I said, Alshon Gentry, he can pretty much solidify himself as a top 2 Heisman Trophy candidate. Hey, I'm going with Boise State. We got Virginia at number 18, Pittsburgh. I'm going with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh need to win this game. They're coming off a dynamic loss where they got dominated against SMU. I expect for them to do the same thing to Virginia. They need some get back. You know how you get back for your homeboy. Your homeboy get his ass beat. Now you got to go out here and now you got to whoop the dude and whoop his ass, or you gonna get your ass beat too. But I expect Virginia to beat Pittsburgh. I mean, I expect for Pittsburgh to beat Virginia. My bad. I get all. All right, we got number 9 BYU at Utah. This right can be a very dangerous game. This right can be a very dangerous game for Utah. I mean, for BYU. I expect for BYU to win, but it won't surprise me if BYU lost this game because Utah can be a very dangerous place to play at, especially at late at night. But I'm gonna go with BYU. I think BYU wins this game. All right. And I expect for them to go, they'll be 9-0. That's the first time that they've been 9-0 in a very long time. All right. And he said he hoping for Coach LC to pick Lee Corso. A lot of people that don't know, Lee Corso to choose LSU over Alabama tomorrow on College Game Day. All right. I'm about to go ahead and talk about that game in a minute, actually. So make sure you stay right there. You might not like what I'm about to say. You got Utah at number 21, Washington State. I think Washington State win this game. Nobody ain't gonna be up for it anyway, because it's gonna be late at night, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So nobody ain't gonna be up, so we ain't gonna see it. So I'll tell y'all about it. All right. But I think Washington beats Utah State. All right. So, and then for the 2 games of the week, we got 2 games of the week this week. All right. For the first game of the week, we got number 3 Georgia traveling down to Ole Miss. Yep, Rebel Land in Oxford to face Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels. I'm going with Georgia. I think Georgia's the top 2 team in the nation. I think they'll somehow, some way, make it uncomfortable for Jackson Dort. I think Jackson Dort has been on a hot streak. But I think they might have scored too many touchdowns last week against my Arkansas Razorback. And I think they won't be able to score that many touchdowns this week against a very talented, very athletic Georgia defense. So I'm going to go with Georgia to go on the road. And this right here is the time of year where I bet Kirby Smart is telling his team, listen, the next 2 weeks, we can solidify ourselves as a SEC champion and also a national champion. Because I think if Georgia wins this game, they're going to get into the college football playoff. Unless they go down there and just stink it up at Tennessee, I think they get into the college football playoff. But this week right here is when this right here is the week where they pretty much can solidify themselves as one of the best teams in college football. Top 2. I expect for them to do that. I expect for them to somehow, some way, slow down Lane Kiffin's offense and get this win this week. And for the second game of the week, we got number 11 Alabama traveling down to Death Valley to face number 15 LSU. Actually, in my next episode, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this game. So make sure y'all tune in. I'm going Alabama. And the reason why is Jalen Milroe. I think he will make just enough plays to get this win. Now, Mettenberger is a good quarterback. Now, they have a perfect team. I mean, Newsmer, my bad. Mettenberger was an old quarterback. My bad. I apologize about that, LSU fans. I don't pay attention to y'all that much. I really do. But Newsmer, all right, is a really good quarterback. I'm looking at his stats right here. Here, his stats look better than Jalen Milroe, honestly. Yeah, when I'm looking at his stats, he got 2,600-yard passing, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. While Jalen Milroe got 1,900-yard passing, 13 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So this is going to be a big game. This is going to be an eliminator. I'm going to Alabama, like I said. And I'll tell y'all why a little bit more when I come into the next episode of the Real Untouchable podcast, when I talk about number 11 Alabama at number 15 LSU. This is an eliminator. Whichever team loses this game, they're done. Especially for the college football player. The winner can possibly clinch a college football playoff berth, because when you look at these last 3 games for Alabama, honestly, they got one hard game, Rick, and that's Oklahoma. And that's only because they're going to Oklahoma. But the rest of those games, yeah, Auburn is always a tough game, but I think they'll beat Auburn. Going to Oklahoma, that would be a hard game. So I expect for whoever wins this game right here, that I think they'll finish their season with only 2 losses. Because when you look at LSU, it's the same thing. They go to Florida, but I think LSU beats Florida. I think LSU. They play Vanderbilt, but it's at LSU. So when I look at this schedule, besides that Vanderbilt game, then they play Oklahoma too at home. So they basically go on the road one more time, and the rest of their next 3 of their 4 games for LSU is at home. So if LSU wins this game, I think they gets into the college football playoffs without making the SEC championship game. I think they're one of those schools that can, because they only got 1 loss right now. Alabama actually got 2 conference losses. And when I look at LSU, when I look at the SEC right now, let's look at the SEC real quick before I get ready to get out of here. Actually, I'm not going to look at the SEC because I'll look at it on that. I will talk about it on the next episode of the Real Untouchable podcast as I get ready to talk about this LSU and I preview this LSU Alabama game. So make sure y'all tune in. Hey, y'all, until next time, hey, thank you all again for listening to another great segment of the Real Untouchable podcast with me, Ray Diggs. And also make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the share button. Hey, Kidder 96, like I said, yeah, I know you're hoping for it. It's going to be a great game, y'all. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. All right. He said he hoped that Lee Corso picks LSU over Alabama tomorrow. You know that Lee Corso pretty much been wrong for the last few weeks, so I don't know if that's a good thing by him picking him. But yeah, you know, it's gonna be a hell of a game. It's gonna be a great game. I think that this right here is the biggest game of the year. I think Alabama looks at LSU as a more of a rivalry than they do Auburn, actually, because LSU Alabama, that game right there normally is between 2 top 25, top 15 teams. All right. Wow, you look at Alabama and Auburn. Yeah, it's an in-state rivalry, but Auburn's had so many down years, they really don't look at that as a rivalry because, you know, when Auburn gets done with that game, their most likely season will be over with. 1, 2, they're going to the toilet bowl, which that's normally how it be for the last 10 years. All right. So, hey, listen. Also, hey, I'm recording this right here on StreamYard Live, y'all. So make sure if you all got any comments or any media in the comment section, hey, if you all don't, make sure y'all tune on the StreamYard, man. It's a hell of a streaming podcasting site, you know, where I do all my podcasting on. So make sure y'all tune on there. If y'all ever want to start a podcast, that's the perfect place to start it at. So make sure y'all do that. Until next time, y'all have a great Veterans Day weekend, man. Happy Veterans Day to all my veterans out there. Hey, peace.